need that in today's game. But in particular, Orakpo, you played on the defensive side of the ball. That defense has been lights out this season. First right now in total yards allowed with only 229.7 yards per game. First in points allowed, 6.3. That's amazing. Second in pass defense. But it was last week in that rivalry game versus Oklahoma. That defense had 11 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, forced 2 turnovers. And it was a guy in particular, Anthony Hill Jr., who, when I mean balled out, 11 tackles, 2 sacks himself, 3.5 tackles for loss, instinctive, getting downhill, making plays all over the football field. But Orakpo, this defense has been so good. There's someone that you have your eyes on that can really make some noise in their career here in Texas.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a group. I think honestly, it's the guys up front. Collins, around with Sorrell, the rest of the big guys up front is the key to this defense, is the key to this team, is the key to making those crucial stops. Because it's one thing, we got a great offense, but if it's going to be a shootout, we need defense to go out there and make stops, which I know they're capable of.
Without a doubt, and I think one other special thing about this Texas team through these first 6 games is they've had to find different ways to win, and other groups have had to step up at times, because even with Arch having to come in and sort of carry them over while Quinn was hurt, the fact that they've gotten back to this point, mostly healthy. I know Isaiah Bond is probable he's going to play, but he's a little bit banged up. But this Texas team has not only been the best and most consistent in the country, but they've had to do it when they've needed to step up in different areas.
They're winning points by 36 points. That's #1 in FBS. And when you just talked about the fact that Quinn was sick, or was out, was injured, even with him out, they're still playing at the level that they've been playing. HG, when Quinn returned last week, what did you see out of him?
Well, #1, it didn't start off great, but that's the point of having great team football. The run game picked Quinn Ewers up. The defense picked him up. Early on in the ball game, you had a 3rd and 14 situation. You had Matthew Golden coming down on the deep end cut. He overthrew him, threw him behind him, ended up in an interception. And then you had the very next series, you have Isaiah Bond coming down right down the middle of the football field for a touchdown. Short-armed it, skipped it into the turf. But what really got him started was a 3rd and 5 scramble drill. He was able to hit DeAndre Moore on the sideline for a 26-yard gain. And then next thing you know, they were off to the races. Their young running back, Travion Wisner, that young man is really taking off for this Texas offense, and their running back coach, Tashard Choice, is very high on him.
And, you know, I wanted to mention, too, because I think a lot of people, when they see that Oklahoma team, because a lot of people were down on Quinn's performance last week because he wasn't as prolific as they wanted him to be. And, Brian, I think that this is where your expertise could come in, is how difficult is it for a guy, no matter regardless of position, to come back into a game like that, because that is one of the greatest rivalry games in all of college football. You're playing against a great team. I mean, that's not an easy thing to come back from.
It's one of the hardest rivalries, if not one of the greatest rivalries in college football. And for Quinn to come in, first game back from injury, I know you played through injuries, I did. That's not easy. You know, you're gonna not play great the first game back, but for him to come in, still have his poise throughout the game, and excel and lean on the running game, that was huge.
I want to talk about the coaches in this matchup. They just missed each other at Alabama. Kirby Smart was there until 2015. Sark came in 2016. So they haven't actually coached together, but they're obviously both of the Nick Saban lineage. So when you think about this matchup and what Sark has been able to do at Texas, it's been pretty great. HG, what do you think about what he's been able to do with the Longhorns?
#1, it starts with culture, and he's been able to build a positive one. Recruiting, you got to be able to get players to compete in the SEC. You got to have the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, skill position players. You need a quarterback. They have 2 fantastic ones in Quinn Ewers and also Arch Manning. But I like the culture of Orakpo that Sark has been able to build here at Austin.
Yeah, Coach Sark, man, he's special. I've been here for a long time. It's not easy to be the head coach here at the University of Texas. It comes with a lot of pressure, comes with a lot that goes with it. And for Coach Sark to really take the reins and the culture and build that whole new regime, man, it's sky's the limit with this team, and I'm so excited for the future.
And it feels like he's got this team back to a place where, and you were a part of the teams where a lot of people's biggest criticism of Texas was, well, the talent's there, they don't match it though. Like the performance doesn't match it. You guys were a part of that. Like you were a part of that last wave before that 10-year stretch where they didn't quite have it. But this is a Texas team that you want to look good coming off the bus, but you also got to be able to play up to that level. Typically, they've had one or the other, not both. And so that's where, to me, it seems like that's the difference, where they're meeting the standard that you guys had set.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to go in the locker room when we were playing and we were down for 10, 15 years, and I had to hear this guy's mouth about Texas not being good. So it feels good for Texas to be back on top in college football. It's just great for everybody.
I do want want to ask you, because you mentioned the fact that Sark has rebuilt the culture here. What is that culture, and why is it so hard for a coach to really figure out how to do that?
Yeah, and we're the flagship in all of college football as far as Texas. We're the flagship school. So it's a lot of pressure. We don't have all the extra A&Ms and all the extra stuff that comes along with it. We're Texas, so right across our chest, and it comes with a lot of responsibility, and it comes with a lot of pride. And, you know, ever since Mac Brown left, it just hasn't been quite the same.
Yeah.
And he's a legend himself. So Sark has come in and really set the tone.